Hello everybody, so I'm Tyra and I'm here with Gimli today, one of our red pandas at Franklin Park Zoo for our Zoo to You. Gimli's getting one of his favorite snacks, which is raisins. He's coming right up to the camera. So Gimli here is our 2-year-old panda. He was born at Franklin Park Zoo a couple days after the 4th of July, and he's been with us ever since. So Gimli does live alone. Pandas are naturally solitary animals, so you would normally see them in the wild alone up in trees. And he does share an exhibit with his friend Sokka. He's a muntjac. They do live together in the wild. So while the pandas live up in the trees, the muntjacs would live on the ground. Gimli, like the rest of the red pandas, come from the Himalayan mountains. So Gimli comes from one side of the Himalayan mountains, and then we have 2 other pandas, Bunli and Nisha, and they come from the other side. He really likes his snacks. So
full grown.
He is full grown, so he's very small. Gimli's mom was very small. He's about, I want to say 9 or 10 pounds. And the other 2 pandas that we have are about double his size. So Gimli's pretty small for a red panda. We don't expect him to get any bigger. So a fun fact about red pandas is they have an extension of their wrist bone, and it acts as a false thumb. So sometimes you might see Gimli or some of the other pandas reach up and try to use their hands to grab the tongs. In the wild, they'll use these false thumbs to hold onto bamboo, and that helps them eat their bamboo stalks.
Does Sokka eat these grapes too? I mean, the raisins that you're giving him?
Yes, Sokka loves grapes and raisins. He gets grapes every day, and I don't know what it is about raisins, but they're an extra special snack, so he loves those as well.
Do you do training with our red pandas at the zoo?
We do training with our red pandas. Most of it is for medical procedures. We like to have our animals voluntarily participate in medical exams. So we'll train our pandas to target. We'll train them so we can touch their hips for hip injections, for body exams, vaccinations. And they're pretty willing participants, especially when they're getting raisins.
And are these guys endangered in their habitats?
They are, yes. Red pandas are very endangered, mostly due to habitat loss as well as poaching for their fur, because they have very soft, pretty colored fur, and it's used for trading.
How much does Gimli usually eat in a day?
So we actually do weigh the panda's food. So part of Gimli's diet includes apples, leaf eater biscuits, and bamboo. The bamboo is free choice, so we count their stalks. I think at the moment Gimli's eating about 1 or 2 stalks a day. In the winter, it can go up to 10 stalks depending on the panda. And we do weigh his food. So he gets about 400 grams of leaf eater biscuits, which contain all the nutrients that he needs, and he gets about 40 grams of apple a day. He usually eats all of the apple and leaves some biscuits.
Do you have any tips for people that come to visit the red pandas here and maybe they don't see them right away, where they should look?
Yeah, so normally you'll find them up in their trees. They like to spend most of their time up in trees, and they are kind of hard to see sometimes because of their colors. That was by design, so in the wild, that black coloring on their body would help them hide from predators up top and hide from predators looking down on them as well, because the colors will blend in with when the sun hits them. So the best place to see them is high up in trees. Sometimes they're more active in the morning and in the PM, but they do sleep during most of the day, kind of similar to cats. And they do love cooler weather, so the fall and winter are definitely the best times to come see them because that's when they're most active.
I had a question. Can you just remind us how old he is?
Gimli is a little over 2 years old.
What is their usual lifespan?
So I believe their lifespan is about 15 to 20 years in captivity. I would have to double check that, but it is pretty long. I think it's similar to a cat's life expectancy.
And in the warmer weather, did they shed at all?
They do shed, they do grow their winter coats a bit, and in the summer you'll see them shedding. So at the beginning of the summer, their tails were kind of bald. That's the most shedding that I saw from them. They do have a lot of fur, and in the winter it helps them keep warm, and in the summer it helps them keep cool. They do not do well in the summer. They don't like the heat very much. They kind of turn into little puddles when it gets hotter than 70 degrees. That is because they are meant to live in climates of about 60 degrees at the highest. So they're not really designed for the hot weather that we see here.
Do Gimli and Sokka interact a lot, like other than when they're eating together?
I've never really seen them interact that much. I know that the other two pandas do like to play with Sokka. Sometimes they get a little bit rough, so he does hide from them because pandas play a lot differently than muntjacs do. But I don't really see too much interaction. Like I said, they're both pretty solitary species in the wild, so they don't really interact with other animals outside of breeding seasons.
And someone asked how many total we have.
Total, we have 3 red pandas. So you'll never see all 3 of them on exhibit together because they are actually 2 different subspecies and we don't like to cross them. So like I said at the beginning, Gimli is from one side of the Himalayan mountains and the girls are from the other side. And so what happened was speciation. They both became separate species over time. So the girls are from one side, Gimli's from the other, and for that reason we can't really cross them anymore. So sometimes you'll see Gimli on exhibit, sometimes you'll see the girls.
What would be your favorite thing about either red pandas in general or working with these guys at the zoo?
So I like working with these guys at the zoo, especially Gimli. He's very acclimated to people. He's very in your face, likes to get in the camera. He makes for great photo shoots. He is a very interactive panda. The other 2 aren't so much. But they all do have their own personalities, and I think they're pretty funny. So I do love working with these guys. They're very goofy.
Well, I think that's about all the time we have. So if we just want to wrap up, or if there's anything else you'd like to say about red pandas before we go.
So I hope you guys had fun hanging out with our friend Gimli. I'm sure he enjoyed it and all of the snacks. Definitely make sure to come see him one day. I'm sure he would love the visitors. And yeah.